We are live, Damo.
We're live for another
G'day,
season.
everyone. It's SDS SuperCoach with Damo to provide you with game day. Sorry, not game day. Well, game day and SuperCoach content here for Throwdown Thursday with the live stream. I am a bit rusty. We have not done this since, I would say, late July would be our last time we did a Throwdown Thursday. So
Yeah, sorry about that. Kind of flaked out on your last season.
Yeah. No, that's all right. That's all right. There wasn't really much to talk about
My
anyway. So
my SuperCoach season went down the toilet, and so my interest in it went with it.
usually, this is the best time of year because this is when our optimism is at an all-time high. Then we get extremely humbled.
I don't know about you, but I've got the winning team.
Yeah. Well, there can only be one winner, so I think you'll have to cop second, mate, because I think I've got it in the bag.
Does second still get a cash prize? Because I'll just take any money at this point.
Yeah, well, what are if the prizes change? I might go for the SuperCoach Cup this year.
Oh yeah, I think you can win. I think you can win a good amount of money by winning the cup. Actually, I don't know.
It's $1,000 and the champion trophy.
Yep, excellent.
I think the trophy is more interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, $50,000 is nice as well.
Oh yeah. Ideally, it's first place. I would like to see them bring back the 1K prizes. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think they'll bring them back for top scorer.
Yeah,
of the week.
They'll need a new sponsor, but I just like the idea of something to go for. You finish 700th, you might get some KFC socks or something. So maybe even if it's just like a $20 Swish voucher, like just something would be pretty cool.
I remember when I finished 75th in the BBL format, I got a backyard cricket set.
Did you?
Yeah, it's still in my shed.
There you go. Yeah, I'd love to bring it back. Yeah. There's so what do we got here for this year? So 50 grand for first place. Runner up, so second is $5,000, third to 10th is 1,000 per person. The SuperCoach Cup is 1,000 plus the champion trophy. And the round prizes, if you're a SuperCoach Gold subscriber, you get $2,000. If you're not, $1,000 if you get the highest score of the round. And a top 10 round bonus prize is a $50 Swish voucher, I believe. So I was just reading through that.
Very nice.
So same prizes as last year with an added incentive to the SuperCoach Cup, which I am very much have all backing for to that being included into the game. Starts in round 7, another layer of intrigue for the latter part of the season if you get that far. So I've said it a couple of times in the past that that's certainly something I would have liked to have been added to SuperCoach, and now they've done it. So it's a real FA Cup style tournament. Starts in round 7, finals in the final round as well, I believe. So yeah, very cool. What do you think about the SuperCoach Cup, Damo?
I'm still getting my head around it. I was qualified in the NBA SuperCoach for about 6 weeks, and then bundled out after a poor showing, some bungled trades. But look, it's a fun little layer to it. I don't pay attention to it too much, but maybe the AFL format, which I'm more engrossed in, I'll pay more attention to it.
I think you'll certainly pay more attention, a bit more, like if certain coaches, season's done, they're 15K, whatever the case may be, but they're still in the cup, post buys, and you probably strive towards that, would be my guess. So just, few hundred extra coaches out there with some more interest in the game towards the latter part. Damo, what were your thoughts on the teams for Thursday night, for tonight's game, Sydney and Carlton? What were your takeaways? Nothing's officially started, so I guess we got to talk about the teams here. Were there any surprise additions, omissions, etc.?
People seem to be surprised that Wade Dirksen wasn't announced, but I don't think I was that surprised. Like, the players that have been named ahead of him are clearly ahead of him. He's only been on the list for a week and a half or something at this stage, and he looked good in the practice game against Geelong, but it was just a practice game, and he's still behind their best couple of guys. I could see him potentially challenging Mitch McGovern for a spot later down the line, but I think I think we can't bank on Wade Dirksen like we thought we could.
And I also think it's fine as well. We could look at him as a downgrade target down the line, and there's no reason to say Carlton put in a stinker down back and they play and they shuffle the magnets around heading into Richmond. But I think it's just a couple more weeks of AFL fitness for Dirksen because he was mainly training through the VFL system. So I think there's a case to be made that he could eventually take Lewis Young's spot as well. So I guess just monitor Dirksen, but he can be a downgrade target. We got plenty of defensive rookies potentially available, so it doesn't bother me that much. My main takeaway is that Liam Reedy has overtaken early days, it seems, Hudson O'Keefe for that second ruck spot. I was getting a bit worried. So he would be a massive watch for me tonight to see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I still have Liam Reedy in my R3 slot. I think the trade over was made because he was going to get opportunities that he wasn't getting at the Dockers. I think his dual position, even if he only plays 10 to 12 games throughout the year, I think that's a good sort of slow burn on our bench that we could hold on to. But talking to Carlton people, Michael Voss seems to be a massive fan of the dual ruck setup. With Harry Mackay needing to be the big banana down forward, they needed another guy that they could bring in that could swap between the two roles. And whether that turns into Pitney becoming the second fiddle to Mackay, or if Reedy develops into that role, or the other way around, it's an interesting thing to watch. I actually think Liam Reedy has value even just as a bottom basement dual position player, playing or not, though.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of the confidence that we needed, us coaches, because I'm sure a lot of us wouldn't have wanted to rely on Cooper Duff-Tytler to be our R3. So it was good to have Liam Reedy named, and I'll be monitoring his. He'll probably be my main watch tonight, how he looks up forward, his time on ground, all that stuff. But I guess the thing, yeah.
I mean, in the Community Series game, I didn't think he had the biggest impact, but he still came away with 58 points and 19 hitouts. So
yeah, and he looked pretty poor as well.
He didn't look great. So the fact that he could still muster out 60 points doing basically nothing, I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I mean, I do rate Hudson O'Keefe, so I don't think he's a lock for that second ruck spot, but certainly good signs to see. And he's got ruck forward status, so likely not to be a Harry Boyd scenario.
I've seen some. I've seen our great mate Pommy in Oz. He thinks that it wouldn't surprise him if Reedy eventually takes Pitney's spot and then Hudson O'Keefe comes in and Reedy takes over the ruck role. But I think it depends on what works and what isn't working for Carlton early in the season and what they eventually settle on for their best mix.
Yeah, because I've seen some training reports that it seems like Pitternet's been pretty clearly the best ruck, but plenty of things can change, and I'm very intrigued in tonight's game. Who's your tip for tonight, out of curiosity?
I've gone. Let me check who I've tipped in the app. I've gone Sydney by 23 points.
Yeah, I think I've gone Sydney 26. It'll be interesting to see how Charlie goes against his old mob. We'll get to a few of these questions. Thank you all for waiting. Hey, Daniel Green. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hey, lads. Hope you're doing well. Hey, lads. Hope you are doing. Hope you're well. And both are fighting for second and first place. Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a battle between me and Damo. I don't know if there's much point anyone else playing because we got the top two
Confidence
spots.
sky high at this time of year.
Yeah, wait until you hear our whinging in a month. Global Sports, g'day, legends. Good to have you on once again, mate. Thank you for jumping on. Cameron, hey, is there a trick? Is there a trick to get the oval visual view on Classic? What does that mean?
Yeah, so up the top of your team, you'll see field and list. Just click on the field button and you should get your oval view back.
Was it not an oval view?
I think he might be on the app and stuck in list mode.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
On the app, let me open the app to give you guidance there if that's the case. Let's see. Just vibe for me in the meantime there.
Yeah. I'll vibe for you. So, I guess some other takeaways. We get to see Harry Dean for the first time, Jagger Smith for the first time, and then we get debutants for their clubs with Jai Sarong and Malcolm Roses, all as rookie options. Jagger Smith will sit.
So same thing in the app. Just hit the field button there, and you should get the oval view back.
So we get to see some plenty of rookies around. So I'll be interested to see in any roles. I mean, we're obviously starting Jagger Smith either at flex or M8 or whatever the case may be. Could you build a case for Harry Dean and Malcolm Roses? And then Jai Sarong will certainly be a watch tonight too.
I mean, Jai Sarong should be in people's teams at the moment, even if it's bench or on field. I think he's going to be a good pickup, good rookie. He chose the Swans over about 4 different clubs that were going after him, and he chose the Swans because he felt that he was going to be in their best 23, and I think he's in their best 23 as it stands as well. Malcolm Roses, small forward, 145k. His scoring is going to be up and down, the same as if you picked a Lockie Doverston or a Latrell Pickett. So you just got to choose the best guy in that situation if you're going for one of them. Harry Dean, look, it doesn't, because they've named Young and McGovern and Wiedering with Harry Dean, it feels like one of them's going to have the roll-off job to intercept and rebound. Which one that is, that's going to be the big watch tonight. If it's Harry Dean, then I think we'll see Harry Dean's ownership jump a little bit, but 194k to start, I just wonder if it's too expensive for his type of player.
Yeah, and I think if you wanted a key position player with a few more years experience, you got Josh Gibcus at 55k cheaper than Harry Dean. So I'd probably prefer to go that route anyway. And even then, like, just remember with the round 2 buy players, you don't have to start them. If they end up becoming that essential to trade into, you can trade them into heading into round 3. So probably the strategy I'm going to be going with a couple of these round 2 rookies, but certainly with Harry Dean, that's for sure. And then Malcolm Roses, he's going to be a bit up and down. I like that he's a few years older than the guys like Lockie Doverston and Latrell Pickett, so that backs me in a little bit more to him be a bit more mature as a scorer. And then some of the other interesting ones, maybe like an Angus Sheldrick for draft. We get to see his CBA numbers tonight as well. Can he be a consistent main part of that Sydney midfield? And then you got quite a few premiums that we'll be keeping an eye on, like an Errol Goulden, Sam Walsh, George Hewitt, Brodie Grundy. My question for you, Damo, would be, do you overreact or underreact or properly react when reacting to premiums in preseason and opening round games?
you got to look at it in totality. I mean, I watched lots of people throughout the community series this sort of react a little bit too much, saying this premium popped, I got to have them in my team. Next game, this premium popped, and then they change it at another part of their team. Like the preseason games, each club wants different things, wants to see different things out of their players. So you don't always see the right guys go on a run. Like Max Holmes scored 103, not doing much for Geelong, whereas Tom Atkins scored 102, seemingly playing as the hardest going mid. So some people saw Max Holmes as underwhelming, but it was really only in first gear, in second gear throughout that entire game. I think you just got to look at the whole thing in totality. I think you got to wait for the round to finish before you weigh everything up, because yes, we can play around with our teams and there's no danger in doing so, just as long as you don't lose sight of the structure you want, the information that you already have at hand, and then the information in front of you after opening round. Because sometimes making those last minute changes just based on, a reflex of what you've seen in one game can actually hurt your team, because, like, we always overreact to a guy in round one or opening round only scoring a 60 or a 65. But if it was in round 19, we would just write it off as, a bad week, So it becomes it becomes the case where you got to think of it in totality. And you also got to remember, if you're paying 500-600K for this guy, you've paid for them to be a good scorer in 20 out of 23 weeks. There's going to be 3 weeks or so where he might have a down game, but you got to accept that with what you've paid for. And but like, think of it in totality. Don't make reflex. Don't make changes just based on a whim.
Yeah, I 100% back you in as well. Certainly opening round and the Amy series, community series, whatever you call it. I certainly look at a lot more at the rookies, what type of role, the mid prices, specifically on the role that we are hoping to get. There's multiple layers of reasoning. If a premium scores poorly in a practice match, they don't care. They were trialing something out, all these type of factors. Round zero, we get a proper indication on data for these 10 teams. So it's like a cheat sheet for an exam that you're given. So, and it's just up to you on what you're going to do with it. So,
Sure.
So I'm certainly more of a mid-pricer and rookie analyst for the practice match and round zero. But as long as the premium looks good and doesn't get injured, and even if if Errol Goulden drops an 80 tonight, but you see you see the eye test, he still passes it, you can still go with that pick. And I think
the way Sydney lacked what he was able to provide last season, and then when he came back in, I'd be surprised if he didn't look good just to the eye. Obviously, he got subbed out with that ankle in the community series game, but looked good in that first quarter. If they do go with a cautious approach tonight, then maybe he only does score an 80 or an 85, but I don't think we should have anything to worry about. I think he is still going to be a massive part of what Sydney need to put together this season.
Absolutely. A couple more of these questions. James P., another great advocate for Throwdown Thursdays and my channel as well. So massive shout out to the great man. Good to have footy back. Absolutely. Not the situation I would like with it being opening round. I am a massive advocate for round one being round one, but it's good to have footy back. I still personally think you saw my tweet from 2 weeks back or whenever it was that I think the season starts a little too early for me, in my opinion. I'd personally prefer it to be pushed back a couple of weeks and the grand final be in mid-October, but that is okay. It's always exciting to have footy back. Nothing hits like footy.
Well, I saw a tweet earlier today that the season starting on March 5th is the earliest that it has started since 2000, when they needed to get the season done and out of the way before the Olympics so it just, if the season's going to start earlier and earlier every season, and players are advocating for longer pre-seasons, then it just creates more issues for the AFL. So I agree with you. I think a 10-week block between January and the season starting, and then just let them have it to December off, makes so much more sense.
Yeah, I think as well, when players come back from their overseas trips and holidays mid-November, you only get 3 weeks of 3 or 4 weeks of like conditioning training, and then you probably undo a fair bit of it over the Christmas break, which is what everyone should be doing.
And in December, throughout January and December, you also have all the draftees going for their AFL Players Association induction, all the captains meetings, all that sort of thing. Put that in December. Like if you want the players have the players back in December, that's fine. But make it like the NFL have a training camp and then a mandatory training camp. I think bring the players back in December, that's fine. But also be aware that they might not go their hardest in December. Like it should just be maintaining fitness in December. Really, nothing to do with skill work, nothing to do with that sort of thing. The 10-week block in January, like it should be where you hone in all that sort of stuff, and you have all the media duties, you have all the flying back and forth between Melbourne and all those different places in December before they sign off for Christmas.
Yep, spot on, Damo. We'll get to Daniel's question here. I've spent big in rucks hoping for the old set and forget. I have Grundy and English and Mason Cox on the bench with Andrew in flex. If Cox plays and gets 2 scores, 100 plus in 8 weeks, he makes 150 to 200K.
If Cox plays.
Yeah, if he does play, it does seem a bit up in the air on whether he does, but what's your view on the ruck line this year, Damo?
My view on the ruck line is I don't think the new rules are going to affect as much as we think they are, but I do respect that maybe the athletic ruckmen have been benefited more by these new rules. So I think we're still going to have a bit of change in who's top 5 and who falls out, but I don't think we're going to see too much difference in the way of scoring, in the way of impact. I think guys like Lloyd Meek, unfortunately, Toby Nankervis, even Cherry Cherry might drop 100K before he levels out. Like that sort of player, I think isn't benefited by these new rules. Whereas guys like Grundy, English, even Jackson, Tom DeConning, look, the way Tom DeConning and Rowan Marshall looked in their community series game, you could probably start either one of them and be okay. Probably Tom DeConning is the one I would lean to more, but they looked okay. But then you looked at guys like Cherry, Meek, Nankervis, those guys were getting jumped all over, and it just didn't look like a nice situation for them. So we might see teams change their ruck strategies throughout the year as these new rules kind of settle in. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see too much of a difference in terms of the scoring. I think it's just going to be different types of ruckmen that dominate.
And we've seen it in pre-season as well. We've seen realistically an untried ruckman in Lockie McAndrew overtake Riley O'Brien by January. So
yeah,
there are some rucks that
and Dante Vicentini has overtaken Jordan Sweet as well.
Yeah, that surprised me because I thought Sweet would be okay with the maybe the body shape. I underestimate. He looks athletic enough to make it work, but that is okay. So yeah, there's certainly a few ruck changes. I personally think, I agree with you with the most part. I think I personally think generals like overall total points scoring could go down for ruckman, but not significantly as what we were thinking back in February. So maybe the highest ruck scorer for me could average 120, and maybe the next one's 117, something like that. So I probably have questions on whether they're gonna we're gonna see those 125 plus averaging rucks this year.
Yeah, I mean, I like his strategy with McAndrew in the flex, Grundy in English. You know, those three guys all showed what they could do. Even Mason Cox looked really good and created more flexibility in that Dockers lineup as well in that preseason game against Adelaide. But I think if Mason Cox plays, it'll only be until Sean Darcy is fit. And by all reports, he is back in full training. It's just whether they set him up to succeed and give him a few weeks to really build up his fitness, or if they put him straight in against the Cats.
Yeah, and yeah, the only thing I've got with the set and forget stuff is, and especially if you're doing 4 rucks, so you got a flex sorted, it does affect your flexibility a little bit with the team. And if other value ruck options come around for in season, it does make it a little bit trickier to adjust there. But I can understand with it just wanting to get it out of the way. My question with you, Damo, with Luke Jackson, do you still reckon there's going to be some effect for Luke Jackson when Darcy's in the team?
From a SuperCoach point of view, if people are starting Luke Jackson, they need to decide if his flexibility and versatility is a strength or a weakness. Yeah. If you think it's a strength, then you should be starting him. If you think it's a weakness, then you should be giving him a wide berth. I don't think there's an in between. At 611K as well, it's a lot to spend on a guy that you're not completely confident in either. And considering that Tim English is almost exactly the same price, just a couple of with 10 or so K either side of him. I think you've got an option to move to someone who, you know, showed a bit more in his preseason game at the very least with these new rules. So yeah, Luke Jackson, I think he's going to have a good season. If he's going to have a good SuperCoach season, not sure. I don't love his chances of getting dual position though. So if people are starting him thinking he'll eventually become a forward or he'll eventually become a mid or whatever it is, I just don't love that prospect out there.
Yeah, because I've really liked the idea of Luke Jackson in my team, but just the questions around it make me hard to have any confidence in wanting to start him and commit him for a full season, even though I really do like, if they fully gave the keys to him as a ruck, I'd be all aboard with it. So just the Sean Darcy questions and the Mason Cox questions, and there might be stuff that changes throughout the season. Happy to readjust if they look to just fully go with Jackson at R1. But I know with Tim English, we've seen it for so many years. Luke Beveridge will just play a solo ruck and just commit to it. And we saw what English did against Meek and absolutely towed him up. So could we potentially see a 2023 type of season out of Tim English? Maybe not to that extent, but there's a possibility.
We're set up for it, aren't we? He's had a full preseason. He's looked good in every game that we've seen him in, like State of Origin, Community Series, practice match, whatever it is. So I think he's set up for a good season, Tim English, and he could be a top 5 ruck by the end of the season. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
So just before we move on to the next one, just final ruck question. What's your ruck setup looking like?
My ruck setup is Grundy, McAndrew, Reedy on the bench.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, McAndrew's a risk, and I understand that it's a risk, but we have the rare opportunity where we have a rookie-priced guy who is being backed in as a number 1 ruck in a team vying for finals. So I don't see them rushing back Riley O'Brien that quickly, given what we've seen in the preseason. It really feels like they're backing in a McAndrew with a Toby Murray backing him up, and I don't think that's an opportunity that we should overlook. So I think McAndrew should be in every team, whether that's bench, flex, or R2. it definitely frees up some cash to fix up elsewhere, and it's a rare opportunity, and we might have the same opportunity again when Tasmania comes in. We might have another opportunity to start a rookie price ruck again when that happens. So it's something that we might see a little more over the next few years, but we have the rare opportunity now where there's not another player coming for his spot at this stage, or so we think.
Yeah, I'm glad you're going with McAndrew R2, and I am as well, because I also think there's multiple layers of protection that you can do if the worst came to the worst. So first one is you see him round 1, awesome, he's in my R2. He gets dropped for round 2. Cool, we got best 18 for 3 weeks. We can reassess come round 5. If nothing's changed, then we can adjust there. We've looks like as well we got a Liam Brady playing at R3, so as long as he can stay in the team, he can be the replacement for McAndrew. And if you're looking at a Lockie Blackiston at Essendon, who is the solo ruck, 295k defender, he should get ruck status by heading into round 6. So if Nick Bryan isn't back, you can put Blackiston in your ruck line by then. So that's why I really back the McAndrew R2 fan club, because there are layers of protection that I'm happy to take on board with having McAndrew there, as I do think he is a very good option to have on field.
Just on Lockie Blackiston, there's no timeline on Nick Bryan, and he has resumed main training. I would hate for someone to start Lockie Blackiston and then in 3 weeks Nick Bryan's back in the Essendon side, and then we get nothing out of Lockie Blackiston from that point forward. That is my only issue with Blackiston at the moment. Looked great in the community series, looked great with the new ruck rules, looked great in every facet. Like, there's nothing wrong with this, with the selection. I just have the problem that Essendon haven't provided a timeline on Nick Bryan, but he is back in full training and probably is their number 1 ruck when fit and available. So I would hate for Blackiston to get to round 3, someone to be relying on him, and then Bryan comes in and then Blackiston doesn't continue in the role.
But what you could do is just do Blackiston to Bryan.
You could. You definitely could, but I mean but then that's a trade down the line that you need to use that you could have used on something else.
Yeah, I get that, and that'd certainly be worst case scenario, and that's something you need to think about if you are looking at a Lockie Blackiston. And probably Essendon would have been one of the teams I would have liked to have seen round 0, just to see a full game of Blackiston again at solo ruck, but that's okay. So yeah, there's plenty of interesting points in the ruck line. Daniel Green, once again, thank you for the question again, mate. Keep sending in those questions, guys. We're happy to answer any of them. It's a big if, but I can always just get rid of him and get Reedy in, bank that extra 110k, easier to go down than up. So that was regarding the Mason Cox on the bench.
Yeah, I
Mason probably Cox, prefer to do that, to be honest.
I mean, I like the Mason Cox pick if he's there, and if the Dockers come out and say that it's going to be Cox and Jackson to start the year, then I love the selection. But we haven't been told that yet, and I just think they're going to back in Darcy. So I think you might be better off banking that 110k or using that 110k elsewhere from the get go.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably thinking there, but I like your thinking, Daniel. And Daniel, also fading Bont, Nass, and Kirch to start. How risky do you think that's going to be?
I only have one of these players, by the way.
Same.
I only have Nass.
I only have Kirch.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, similar thinking from us as well. Can we talk about Bont for a minute?
Sure.
Why are we not starting him?
I'm not starting him because I can't afford him.
Yeah, you're going to Kmart.
I've settled on a structure that I like, and I just can't afford him. I've had him in versions of my team. I think he's looks good in my team. I just can't afford him at over 700k.
Yeah, I'm the same thinking. I'm not paying 700k for a player. I'm just not. I see my team. I think there's enough captain options. It is a bit scary not going with a Bontempelli, but I think I'm happy to back in the current structure I've got, and I've got no room for Bont. There are 4 premiums that I prefer over a Bontempelli at 706k. Would we say this is risky? I don't think it's that risky.
No, I mean, it's more what you're doing with the money instead that would be the question. Like, it's a lot of money to spend on Bont and Nas being the top of their lines, but obviously if you don't have them, you've gone cheaper. So where are you using that money elsewhere? Which is the next question. If not having Bont and Nas allows you to have Mason Cox on the bench where he's not going to actually be scoring on field for you, then maybe that's where the issue arises. But if you're well equipped on field and can have Mason Cox on the bench, and you've used that money well to still have some captaincy options week to week, then not having Bont, not having Nas, not having Kirch, that's fine.
How many players above 500k have you got in your team, Damo?
Me? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You got 10. Okay. I'm more your mid-price madness operator. I think I've got 7, maybe 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8.
Okay. Yeah, I've got. Well, okay. Hang on. Is your question how many keepers do I have, or how many above, or how many premiums do I have? Because it's
just how many players above 500k.
Yeah. So I've got 10 above 500k, but I can see myself having up to 13 keepers.
Yeah, I think for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I've only got 10, but that's okay. So yeah, I think I've got 10 keepers that I could see happening. But yeah, I'm certainly on the mid-price train once again this year. I'll happily adjust if this season goes a crap with my thinking otherwise, though. It's cloudy days. Hope you're doing well, mate. Why has everyone gone cold on Visentini but hot on Blackiston? Is this Dante Vigo?
I'm going to answer it as if it's Dante, because they're actually similar prices. There's only about 5k difference. I don't think anyone was really on Visentini to begin with. No one really knew what the ruck situation at Port Adelaide was looking like until the preseason games, and even then, we still don't know if it's going to hold in Josh Carr's system, a new system that we're not really sure of. Visentini seems to have the nod at the moment, but in saying that, he only scored 80 points against West Coast in that preseason game. He had the monopoly on the ruck, was outscored by Matt Flynn by a couple of points. Matt Flynn was sharing the job. So yeah, I don't think it's that people have gone cold on Visentini. I think he's just been a late run that we've understood what the ruck situation is at Port Adelaide, and no one's really had an opportunity to truly consider him.
Yeah, I've got enough confidence in me to think that he can stay in that team long term. If I'm paying for a 300, 400k ruckman, I'd certainly want to have a look at making sure that there is a clear pathway for consistent run for this player. And I just don't see it with Dante Visentini. If you were suggesting Vigo Visentini, it's because Blackiston's ahead of Vigo. I think Vigo only got a game just because they had no other ruckman to pick at one point last year. And
he looks good though.
I think he looks good. Definitely a year or two away from fully cementing himself in those conversations. But interesting ruckman for Essendon to have a look at going forward. Toan V88. Hope you're doing well, mate. What's up, boys? I don't know why, but I'm back on the Clary train. Thoughts?
Oh, I think I like it. I think I like it, but low cost investment, just above 500k, not even above 500k really. Seems to he will probably play the Tom Green role without Tom Green there for this year. It's about who they put around him and what they do to support Clary in the midfield. Obviously, Callahan's going to be there. Rouston looks like he's going to be in there, but then it's going to be that rotation that they use around him that's really going to decide how good Clayton Oliver can go for the Giants. I think he's going to get back to being a good pick, and maybe we consider him down the line as well. But I don't mind the starting pick. I don't mind banking on the upside at his price.
Yeah, I think there's probably a couple of others I prefer around Clayton Oliver's price. I come to think of last year, maybe things change in a new team, but it felt like everything went as well as it possibly could for him last year with a full preseason, and then to start the season really and ended up on a 92 average. I know he's missed a couple of, I think it was a game against West Coast last year that he missed.
I'm interested if Towan can tell us what he thinks Clayton Oliver can average this year. Like, has he thought about Clayton Oliver's ceiling and floor when making this selection? Because if his expectation is that Clayton Oliver is going to jump from 500 to 600k and be a keeper mid throughout the season, great, awesome. But if he's picking him as a stepping stone, probably a little too expensive.
Yeah, I think you'd need to have a fair bit of faith. Like, I think for Clayton Oliver to be a successful pick, he would have to average 105 for the year. And I would say that is probably his ceiling, in my opinion. Yeah, he just put in here, if Clary can average anything over 100, I'm content. Yeah, so
okay, so he
you probably want him
10,
to go 100 plus.
Yeah, he's thinking that he's about 10 points underpriced. Then that's fine. Yeah, great.
That's fine. Yeah, that's cool.
Excellent.
Back to Daniel. I have 10 players over 500k. That is, perfectly fine. I think.
Excellent.
For sure. Shall we get into some season predictions for 2026? No problem at all, Tone.
I reckon we do SuperCoach predictions and then actual AFL predictions.
I haven't thought of any SuperCoach predictions. Have you got any scenarios?
Oh, look, I haven't put any thought into it either. I just thought we could, just off the bat. I mean, if you were to pick a top averaging player for 2026, who would you think?
Overall, not in
overall. So obviously, Bont was the top average in 2025 across any position. Who do you think is going to have the top average across any position this season?
I'll go bold. Players can't stay up the top forever. I'll go Nick Dacos.
I think I'm Dacos or a ruckman, likely Grundy or English.
Tone thinks Butters. Yep. He's
I like the Butters.
Here.
I like the Butters call. I think it's going to be Butters or Grundy as the top averaging player in SuperCoach this season.
So, how many on average? How many points do you think Bontempelli drops in average?
Well, he averaged 126. I think he drops to 131. Well, there you go. I think he drops about 5 to 8 points then.
We're not starting Bont. So yeah, that's probably
I'm planning on trading him in at about 600k if he gets there.
Yeah, if he can get under 620k, then I'll be licking my lips. That's for sure. But happy to. Well, Well, I'm not happy to bet against Bond because he is an absolute
I'm
champion. But
I'm not happy to fade him, but I'm happy to see where he drops to. And I can cross the bridge when I get there if I need to if I need to do some maneuvering to get him back in.
as long as I've got him in for the last 8 rounds post bye for the run home, then that's perfectly fine with me.
Agreed.
No rush with him. I haven't really thought of who's your.
We'll go back to AFL predictions then. Who's
Yeah.
your premier for the season?
I'm just going to go off my post on Twitter, Stephen DW Smith, if you want to follow me on there. My flag winner for the 3-peat is Brisbane.
I am with you. Who's your runner-up?
Sydney.
Fremantle. Another heartbreak.
Oh, I hope that happened. Sorry, I don't hope that the runner-up scenario happens.
I think. Well. Here's the way I see it. If Fremantle get to the grand final, it means they've won a prelim, and I think that's a pass mark for the Dockers this season. So
Definitely.
losing the grand final might not look good on paper, but I think it means that they've had a successful season based on where they needed to progress.
And it would finally be easy to say that Longmuir has figured out the perfect, well, not the perfect if you're not winning the flag, but the right mixture on what works for this Freo side.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Who's your wooden spoon?
Essendon. Yeah.
I've gone West Coast.
Yep, West Coast.
I mean, to be honest, I thought West Coast or Richmond, or there was about three teams I could have gone for, but after watching the West Coast Community Series game against Port Adelaide, I know we shouldn't put too much value into preseason games, but West Coast looked dreadful, and it wasn't just the fact that they were getting hammered on the scoreboard; it was the skills on the ground, the way the players were hesitant to do anything. It seemed like it just looked like a mess.
Do you reckon McQualter could get in the hot seat pretty quickly?
I think they've brought him in. So they brought him in on a 3-year contract. I think they want to see what he can do by the end of the 3 years. I think they're going to give him the full term before they really decide on the next steps.
If he's the one, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they brought him in knowing it was going to be a long process.
Yeah, and I guess they want to see if they can fully commit to him long term.
And famously, West Coast don't really sack their coaches. Like Adam Simpson was the first coach that the team had ever actually sacked.
Yeah. They just give them a good run at it.
Yeah.
Who is your Brownlow medal?
I've gone for Isaac Heaney.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Isaac Heaney was up in the voting last year, even with Sydney's down season. So I think if Sydney can win a few more games, which I think they will, they're actually tipped in my top 4 for this season. I think he's going to catch some eyes with the way that he plays up forward and through the midfield. That, with the bright blonde hair underneath the umpire's eyes, under the umpire's nose, I think he'll get a few votes, and I think he could end up with the medal at the end of the season.
And as well, the umpires can now look at stats, so they'll back them in even more. Mine is Nick Dacos. Nothing out of the ordinary prediction-wise with that one. Do we need to ask Rising Star? I think we already know who's going to get it.
It's going to be Zane Zakaselsky. Nah, Jagger Smith.
Who's that?
Plays for
he just named a random person from Russia.
He plays for Brisbane.
Oh, does he? Sorry, I've never heard of you, Zane.
He played in the Community Series game. He looks quite good, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that checks out. I didn't see that. Didn't see that game. Coleman medal.
You go first with this one. Go
on. Sam Darcy.
Okay. All right. Look, I think I'm being a bit biased here, but I'm going for Josh Tracy. Yeah.
No, that's okay. You're allowed to be biased. I've got a biased one in here as well. So, does Amos and Voss just leave the red carpet for Tracy for leading in the forward 50?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. How many goals do you think Tracy will kick?
How many did
Jezza got close.
Look, I need to look at previous tallies to really give you an idea of what I think he could score.
Well, I think Jezza scored 88 last year.
Yeah, but that's including finals.
Does it? Oh, okay. Well, if they're making the grand final, he might get close.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look now. He scored. It won't tell me in season. Look, probably above 70. He probably needs to kick more than 70 to win the Coleman.
Yeah. I think I got Darcy for 90. I think that could happen. Recruit of the year.
Oh, I haven't thought about this actually.
That's okay. I just see it being Charlie Curnow at the minute for me.
Yeah, I'll go Sam Flanders.
Yeah, nice. Reinvigorate that Saints midfield.
Yeah.
First time All-Australian.
Another one I haven't really thought about.
It's got to be Josh Tracy, right? If he's winning the Coleman.
I mean, if he's winning the Coleman, Josh Tracy. But I was also, but I could go for one of his teammates and say Murphy Reid.
All
Australian in his second year. Yeah, I mean, if I'm tipping Tracy for the Coleman, then he probably has to be in the All Australian team.
Yep. And Murphy Reid looks really good though, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. He does.
You've picked
we've got Big J in the chat from the Centre Bounce.
Good, J, how are we, mate?
Good to hear from you, mate.
Yeah, good to hear from you. I need to link you up with a video soon as well, my man. Don't worry, I haven't forgot about you. Things have been happening. Josh wrong at the price they got him for Rookie of the Year. Yeah. I think he's going to be a very underrated role player for Sydney for like the next 15 years.
Yeah.
He's their new Dane Rampy. My first time All-Australian is I'm going with Nick Watson. I'm back in the Wiz.
What was this for?
First time All-Australian.
Right, okay, yeah.
But my realistic answer is Finn Callahan.
Sure.
And who's your bolter on the ladder? Who's rising up?
Well, Sydney is the easy answer.
Yeah, Sydney for me as well. And what about your slider? Who's falling off? Who's cooked?
The Giants.
The Giants, okay. I've gone the Pies. I've actually got them in my bottom six at the minute. I'm pretty bold to tweet that out. And finally, breakout player.
Okay, that's crazy to me. Big J's pointed out that Harry Sheezel's never been an All-Australian. I like him as an All-Australian pick.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Harry Sheezel's been. I know he's only been in the system for like 3-4 years now, but it's crazy that he hasn't been an All-Australian yet. I think they need. I think it's because North's been down the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah,
they haven't really considered anyone
breakout year to put him in.
I would have thought that Sheezel would have been at least in the squad at the very least. But I don't think they had any nominees last year.
Cherry?
maybe Cherry, yeah, but I reckon Sheasel's a good shout. I love that for Big J, repping the North Melbourne.
Oh wait, no, I don't think he got nominated. Didn't Darcy Cameron get in ahead of Cherry?
Something like that, yeah. But like, I think I love the Harry Sheasel call there.
Yep, and now he's back in the midfield. And just your breakout player, Damo. Who's coming from the clouds? Well, not really coming from the clouds.
When we're talking about breakout, what do you mean?
Well, my answer is Harley Reid
okay.
like just he's had a couple. He's finding his feet, and now he's just. I reckon this year he just goes berserk.
Can I go Lockie McAndrew as my breakout?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean that's certainly a breakout. Yeah.
Like he's like 26 turning 27. He's been at a couple of clubs already. Like I don't know if he could be a breakout at his age, but I think being the number one ruck is going to thrust himself into the spotlight and like I said, Adelaide's going to be a team vying for finals, so he's going to have a big say in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely indeed. Get back to a few of these questions. So Big J is at work, which is fair enough. And this is why we do Throwdown Thursdays on a Thursdays, because we both conveniently don't have work on the Thursday. So, and obviously as well, Damo was my first pick, of course. Causa, I'm really considering Zach Bailey if he has the good role in opening round.
I was talking about this with Clarkey on the Footy Mailbag last night when we recorded. Yep. I think Zach Bailey in a contract year. Don't be surprised if he's a guy that we eventually have to consider trading into our forward lines as a top 6 to 8 forward.
My only thing is, where on earth is the room in that midfield rotation?
Why does he have to play midfield to score well?
It would certainly help his case.
But being in the forward line, everyone talks about being in the forward line as the poison chalice, but there are guys that score without attending centre bounces. Like Dylan Moore has averaged 90 plus for the last few years and only attended 10% of centre bounces for the entire season. Like being in the forward line doesn't immediately rule you out of being a good pick in SuperCoach.
Yeah, but it does limit like your potential to go 100 plus average. It could be like that 93.
But Zach Bailey's ability to do the impossible, to do the miraculous, is what's going to hold his scoring in good stead. Like it's what put Isaac Rankin into our thoughts. With midfield time, he obviously improved. But Isaac Rankin scored well as a rookie, before he went into the midfield. He was a guy with the right work rate on game day, could be a premium without midfield time. Like it's not like midfield time doesn't always mean good SuperCoach pick.
Yeah, but it would just help build his case up to another level. And I think Zach Bailey is around. He's probably the new Dylan Moore nowadays. Like I think Zach Bailey now is right now is a better AFL footballer than what Dylan Moore has been. But he's just that guy that I think he can get to that 92 to 95 average and really build his case going forward. So it'll be interesting in a contract year as well, what type of offers come his way. This is Shazel's
fourth year. Yep. I thought it was fourth. Yep.
Couple of things on Shazel. First off, it feels like he's been around for ages already. And second of all, he finds a way in our teams every year, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. I mean, I finished the year without him last year because obviously he had those weird games where like Clarko was moving him around. But you look at his season as a whole last year, and you look at those 3 games where everyone was jumping off him, and then the games either side of that stretch, man, trading him out, that was a silly move.
Yeah, and
like I don't like trading him out, silly move.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not silly. Like you got to react to the news to what's in front of you, and that's what improves you as a coach. But yeah, I think I've owned him every game of his AFL career, bar the back half of his first season. Like whether he's just a premium moved into a new role, forward status, defensive status, he just sneaks in. And I have no complaints whatsoever. He's a joy to watch for the Kangas. North were one of the few clubs last year with no AA team / squad last year.
Yeah, that's going to change. That's going to change this season.
Yeah, you'd hope so. They've suffered enough.
Sheasel at the very least, please.
You'd think so. The only downside of Shees is his impact with the ball. Very good as an accumulator, though.
Yeah,
he's pretty impactful with the ball, but yeah,
his ability as an accumulator is what sets him up well in SuperCoach, though.
I can understand the debate though in real life with his impact, like when he was playing in the back half. Is it really? Yeah. But I think now that he's moving into a full-time mid role with a bit of half forward, I think the back half of last year was super dominant in that type of role. So
yeah, for sure.
I think the narrative can change this year. CJG, thank you for the comment, mate. Speaking of Dylan Moore, do you guys see him as a pick this year? Maybe if he falls in price a bit? Absolutely. I think if any type of player that
I think for the last 2 years I have finished my forward line with Dylan Moore at about 400k.
Yeah, because I think in every season he finds a way to get himself pretty cheap now, whether that's a bad run of games or whatever the case may be. He did have a poor year by his standards last year. So that average did drop to, I believe he's priced at 86.
Yep, 86.
Maybe 87 this year.
It's 86.8, but the last 2 years he's finished low 90s average.
Yeah, so I think the absolute best case, there's 7 or 8 points worth of value with Dylan Moore this year. But I think if he got to like under 400k and he's just an easy way to get a rookie off field for me, then I'd certainly be having a look at that. So and as well, maybe he gets a little bit more midfield time this year. Mitchell will throw the magnets around, and we're going to see a lot of different names and a couple that we don't expect to run through there this year. I think we're just going to see a lot of randomness in that Hawthorn midfield this year, as we have in previous years. Matey, U6I, hope you're doing well, mate. Hey, sorry if you went over this before I just joined, but can you explain the up and down scores last season with Zach Bailey?
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Is that a good way? Is that a good way to sum it up? I think
it's just the role. Like half forward, it can present as a bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah, I think they do want to. I think they want to prove to Zach Bailey that his best place after this year is Brisbane. So he's going to get a bit of the role that he wants on a platter for him. So I think that's where his better scoring will come from this season. In previous years, though, sometimes he would be stuck forward. Sometimes he'd be the deepest marking forward. He's not required to do that anymore with Ty Gallup, Oscar Allen, Sam Draper coming in. Who else have they got down there? Eric Hipwood's going to be fit by mid-year. They've got options. That means that Zach Bailey can play more of his natural ball-winning game, and I think that's going to help him for this season. But the last few seasons, he hasn't had that ability, so he's scored more like a small forward than we would have liked. Indeed.
Damo, I do have a draft question for you, because I did make a trade with Jay Peterman, the winner of SuperCoach in 2022. So we got a draft keeper league in that with SuperCoach Edge. I traded Zach Bailey to him.
Yep.
For Sam Lawler, pick 13, and a couple of other swaps. Am I going to regret that in a keeper league?
No, that's probably all right.
Yeah, getting Sam Lawler makes me feel like
I'm getting a top 20
Jack
pick.
Bailey.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the thought process, and get another pick 13, which I used on Josh Lindsay, which I'm pretty happy with to snag there.
So you basically traded Bailey for Lawler and Lindsay. Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah. So I won. But part of me also thinks why I did it, because I won the league last year. So I'm sort of thinking, why am I going backwards? But I guess I'm just being like Oklahoma City Thunder and just stockpiling assets whilst I can. So, yeah. What else can we talk about? Where was your... Is there anything we haven't gone through? Maybe the other 4 tips for the games.
Yep.
So,
who have you got for Gold Coast Geelong on Friday night? We've already done the Thursday night tip.
Probably just due to the injuries, I'm going to back in Gold Coast, but it wouldn't surprise me if Geelong won.
I have a reason here to pick Geelong. I need them to win so that they are not hungry for a win when Dockers come up against them in round 1.
So you're going by heart, not by head.
Correct. In this game, by heart, Geelong.
Yeah. Geelong and heart don't go hand in hand for me personally, Damo, but that's all right.
To be honest, Geelong ripped my heart out more often than not. So maybe I should tip with my head, but no, I've gone for Geelong here.
GWS and Hawthorn, probably.
Hawthorn.
Yeah, I'm going to back in my boys, but
good game though. It's going to be a good game.
I think so. Yeah, I think both teams are dealing with injuries, and so it'll be intriguing.
Mind you, though, the weather's going to be awful up there, and they've just had concerts at NG Stadium for the last 3 days. So there's going to be a massive turf watch there.
Oh, damn it. Not something I needed for round 0. No. ACLs left, right, and centre.
I think it's the Giants. I think it's the Giants. You got to worry about for injuries. To be honest, the way they've been going.
Yeah. Maybe it's a good thing Will Day's not playing. Bloody hell. Saturday night, I'm really keen for this one. Brisbane Western Bulldogs. I'm going busy, but
yeah, I'm going Brisbane at home, but I don't feel confident in it. I mean, in the tipping app that I'm in, 93% going for Brisbane. I think it should be closer to 50-50 though.
Yeah, but most just go for the home team if they're in doubt, really.
True.
But yeah, that's a good game. I'm excited to watch that. And then the AFL find a way to put Collingwood at the G. They create stuff to make sure they're playing on there. St Kilda, Collingwood opening round at the G just doesn't sound right, but good on the Saints. I'm backing St Kilda. I think I reckon they can do it. Collingwood heading into the season old and bit ragged with a few players out, especially in their back line. I don't think there's Jeremy Howe, no Darcy Moore.
Do you know what I compare Collingwood to? Back in the day, you would go to like a barbecue on Australia Day, and there'd be that weird guy in the corner just playing with like a hacky sack or just playing with like a tennis ball or something, and then randomly it starts with a game of cricket, and he's just hitting everything out of the park, but he's not really doing much. That's like what Collingwood feels like to me. They feel like a team that doesn't really seem to care when people look at them, but are really good for some reason at what they do without really trying. It's like they're one of those weird guys that just is good at everything without even trying, and is just weird at the party. Yeah, I'm going Collingwood.
Interesting analogy. I've never heard of that one before. Yeah, righto. So
surely someone out there knows what I'm talking about.
I've definitely actually been in that scenario a couple of times. I've gone to a house party. I only know one person. They're chatting to some randoms, and I'm just sitting in the corner. And then someone yells out, "Beer pong." All right, I'll play, and then I just smoke them.
There we go. There you go. You're Collingwood, mate.
Oh. I'm not showing my teeth. Anyway. All right. I think we are close to wrapping up. I'll do one more final question for you, Damo. SuperCoach wise.
Yep.
How many 250K to 400K players are in your team?
250 to 400. Let's have a look. One, two, three, 5.
I've got 8. Which is
So
okay.
you said that you didn't have as many over 500K, but we've got 15 overall together.
Yeah, so I've got 5 rookies on field.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on field.
You got 5 rookies on field as well?
No. Oh, okay. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Wait. If you've got 8 over 500K and then 8, that's 16, and there's 23 on field. How have you got? How have you only got 5 rookies on field? The maths ain't the maths ain't mathing.
Yeah, because one of them I didn't count was Kadeen Coleman.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Because I've got 6. I've got 6 rookies on field.
I like that. Who wouldn't I not have counted? I think it's because I said McKercher.
I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to work out how you're working your maths out, because I don't think you've added up to 23 players.
No, because Coleman was under 250K. McKercher is under 500K.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. No, it's all working out now. So I've gone more of a guns and rookies approach then. Compared to you. So I like
the idea that you've got less rookies on field than most.
Hang on, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7.
Yeah, 7 I think still fine. I don't like it when it goes to 8 and higher, and I don't know about you, Damo, as well. I feel like we were talking. We haven't been talking, but it's good to chat with you again. But I would say 2 weeks ago we were going, how good is this rookie crop? And now I feel like we at this point to where it's still fine, but I think, and there's not a problem with the quantity of of rookies, but the quality of rookies I feel like have dropped a tier.
I'm still needing to lock in my last midfield rookie and my last defense rookie.
Have you got Grill and Farrow on your mid bench?
I've got Grill in my midfield. I don't have Farrow at the moment.
You don't have Farrow at the moment. Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm a tiny bit skeptical with that.
At the moment, in my current team, I've got Jack Carroll on my mid bench in that last spot really, but because of his price, he's above Blamirez on my bench. And then in defense, I've got a placeholder because obviously he hasn't been named, but Wade Dirksen.
Yeah.
So that's left me 75K in the bank to fix up rookies once next teams are announced next week.
Yeah, I've got 71K and I've got, I think, 14 rookies overall in my team, 5 on field, 9 on the bench. So That's all right. So I'll be locking that in. Final question for you, Damo, and I think we can wrap this up. Is
Base mode in the chat wants to call his team hacky sack weirdos. I love it.
Thanks, mate. I'm glad I'm the weirdo from Woolies. You know what? I actually shop at Coles, so no, you're wrong. Hacky sack weirdos. Oh, I think the character limit would be in question, but go for it. Hope the wrist is healing well, mate. Yeah, it's healing good. I'm back to driving. I've been given the all clear to go back to the gym and do some arm exercises, which is great. So yeah, fully back into the swing of things, which is good.
I can tell. I'm not changing my team name. I'm just seeing if it fits. It fits.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Base mode, if you do that, icon.
But there's no characters to spare.
Yeah, that's fine. He's nailed it perfectly. He's nailed it perfectly.
Right. Exactly right.
You're smart man. Then he goes, "No, I'm the weirdo who you got the selfie with you." Oh my God, I completely forgot. I did meet this legend right in Woolies. I did meet him at Woolies. I'm very sorry. I completely forgot. But absolute legend. Yeah, Brad's mate. Yep. You're an absolute delight in person. And yeah, this was, I would say, about 4 weeks ago. And I had had to get my dad to help me get some shopping done because I was still a bit weak. But yeah, no, it was lovely meeting you, mate. And yeah, the wrist is healing very good. You're a good person, mate. So yeah, I do shop at Woolies. I did lie. Share to Glenn Huntley Woolies. So yeah, no, it's good to see you, mate. You're a legend. Damo, just final question for you is, do you feel like your team, are you happy with your team, and are you close to being somewhat ready and it's just a few tweaks for opening round?
Yeah, obviously it'll all rely on team selection for round 1, but I think I'm in a pretty good spot at the moment.
So you feel like you're in a good spot to where you're happy to it'll be a few rookies being moved around depending on team selection, but most of the rookies, most of the mid prices, that type of thing, you feel pretty secure in? Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, I think I'm in a pretty similar boat as well. It's just going to be the rookies that move around depending on team structure and team selection, I meant. We are going to wrap up. Any final words, Damo?
If people do want to see my team, I'm revealing it on the Footy Mailbag website on Monday with Clarkey and Nate. So you'll be able to see all 3 of our teams, all the Footy Mailbag Cruise teams there if people want to peek it. So yeah, exciting times.
Very exciting times. Best time of year, as optimism is an all-time high, as I said. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for Throwdown Thursday, which will probably be a huge live stream next week as we wrap up our side. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next stream next week.